Good afternoon, Norman. Coming up on your news at noon.
Before you drag the Christmas greenery into your home, we'll show you how to keep the twinkling lights from becoming a fire hazard.
And speaking of Christmas lights, the University of Oklahoma will light up tonight with their annual tree lighting ceremony.
All this and more coming up right now on Norman News.
Tis the season for Christmas tree decorating. Thanks for joining us this Monday afternoon. I'm Jerry Sutton.
And I'm Tammy Lowe. But you need to be careful when lighting up your home. Norman News' Ron Frick has several holiday safety tips.
Thanksgiving has come and gone, and Christmas is just around the corner. But as you pick out a tree and string up some lights this year, there are a few safety tips you should keep in mind. Norman firefighter Russell Graham offers several light safety tips.
Yeah, Christmas lights, you got to be real careful with that. Make sure you don't overload the circuit, and make sure that none of the wiring on your Christmas lights gets pinched by wedging it up in a piece of wood or wrapping it around a nail.
Christmas tree lot worker Brandon Wiggins gives customers tips on proper tree maintenance.
We just give them tips about how to keep the tree moist and keep water into it so it stays till Christmas.
These trees look very festive, but if not treated correctly, the needles can dry out. If they touch a hot light, a fire can start very quickly.
On Christmas trees, be sure and always keep plenty of water in the Christmas tree stand with the Christmas tree. When you select a Christmas tree, be sure and get one that is fresh and not dried out.
Most Christmas fires can be avoided if people just use common sense. Ron Frick, Norman News.
For the first time, a menorah will be lit tonight at the University of Oklahoma's Festival of Lights. It's an attempt to recognize all religious beliefs and to bring the community together. Associate Vice President of Public Affairs, Catherine Bishop, says the program is designed for the university family. Music, hot chocolate, and Santa Claus will be on hand for the lighting at 6 p.m. tonight at Burr Park. Burr Park is located just south of Houston Huffman and east of Couch Center.
Santa will be making a special visit to Oklahoma State juvenile facilities this Christmas. The Oklahoma Santa Claus Commission targeted about 320 children in state custody who otherwise would receive no holiday gifts. Volunteers are wrapping the gifts today. The Oklahoma Department of Transportation employees will make the deliveries later this week to institutions where the children live. If you would like to make a donation to the Santa Claus Commission, write to P.O. Box 268812, Oklahoma City 73126.
Today, the Mental Health Association and Griffin Memorial Hospital are involved with Operation Reindeer. Operation Reindeer provides a Christmas for so many who otherwise would not be remembered during the holidays. Operation Reindeer needs your help. For more information, call the Mental Health Association at 843-9900, or you can send financial contributions to the Operation Reindeer at the Mental Health Association in Oklahoma County, 5104 North Francis, Suite B, Oklahoma City 73118.
More than 200 charity registration forms sit in the State Attorney General's office today. The applications are unfiled and unchecked because the office does not have the staff to deal with them. The Attorney General's office says some charities skew information to show they are giving more to charity than they actually are. The state legislature, will soon be asked to find a 5-member staff to look into these issues.
Well, Tammy, if somebody told me that we're right in the middle of April right now, I'd believe them.
That's right. And Todd Yakoubran joins us in the Channel 48 Weather Center. Todd, this does not feel like December weather. What's going on out there?
I tell you, it sure does not feel like December weather at all. It feels something more like April, as you said. And it looks like we're going to be hitting a record high today, possibly an 81-year-old record is going to be broken today, and maybe a 100-year-old record tomorrow. All of that warm forecast when we come back. Jerry, Tammy?
Still to come on Norman News, a Supreme Court ruling may affect prison systems nationwide.
The Oklahoma Museum of Natural History reached its goal, and then some. Now the move of more than 5 million artifacts is being planned. Stay with us.
Where's dinner?
Well, I thought you'd be home a couple of hours
hours ago, and I put everything away. So
what is this? Pizza?
You had just called me. I would have known what.
Dinner ready is pizza.
Honey, please don't be so loud. Please don't. Let go of me!
Get in the kitchen!
No!
Do you want to see what hurts? That's what hurts! That's what hurts!
Oh, please! I can't. Please.
For information, call 1-800-END-ABUSE.
This is not a drill.
Roger, have target in sight.
This is what we do.
Swimmer away.
Every day in the Coast Guard.
Roger.
Battling the elements to save lives is just one of the real missions we tackle.
Swimmer checking victim. Coming up.
Be part of the action in the Coast Guard. Call now toll free.
Adventure training in the Army National Guard. When we move fast. When we train hard. If you're up to the challenge, we'll make it worth your while. Call 1-800-GO-GUARD.
People think because I don't talk about politics, I don't care about it. I let my vote talk for me.
I've seen my candidates win. I've seen them lose. I vote, I say my piece.
I listen to a lot of big mouths every day. You know what? My vote speaks louder.
I can't always speak my mind at work, right? But in the voting booth, I can say anything I want.
Listen, that's what my vote says. That's pretty satisfying.
On election day, vote for your candidate, vote for your country, but most of all, vote for yourself.
The Museum of Natural History at the University of Oklahoma has raised all the money they need, and then some.
Chris Brogdon looks at how the museum staff is preparing for the big move.
Fundraising for the new Museum of Natural History at the University of Oklahoma has now come to an end. Oklahoma University President David Boren said the drive that raised $17.5 million on its own ended up with a final donation totaling $2.2 million. The money that has been raised is going toward a great new facility that is 10 times bigger than the current facility. Meanwhile, the move of over 5 million artifacts is being planned. Everything here at the Museum of Natural History is pretty much packed away in storage. This building is closed, but employees here are still working hard, getting ready for the opening day of the new museum, which is scheduled for sometime in the fall of 1999. The Senior Program Development Specialist for the museum, Janice Sacco, says the move is going to allow some new artifacts that have not been seen before.
Some of the bones, like the mammoth bones, for example, and other bones were shipped to Canada because there's a guy there who's an expert in putting together skeletal remains. So, with the exception of this mammoth, all the other bones are not articulated, and his job is to put them all together for us.
A new building, new artifacts, and a new atmosphere will be sure to attract more people to the new facility. Chris Brogdon, Norman News.
The Oklahoma Attorney General says the Supreme Court's pending decision on a pre-parole case could affect the prison systems nationwide. In August, the 10th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Denver ruled that 51-year-old Ernest Harper had to be returned to his release program until he is able to contest his removal. Harper is part of a program that allows prisoners to live and work in society. The state is worried a defeat would lead to financial burdens and ultimately discourage states from experimenting with such programs in the near future.
Hundreds of friends and relatives were on hand Sunday as members of the Oklahoma Air National Guard returned from a tour of duty in Turkey. The unit went there to patrol northern Iraq with other Gulf War Coalition members. Governor Frank Keating said he'll hold a reception for the Tulsa-based 138th Fighter Wing during a special cabinet meeting. The Oklahoma Air National Guard was replaced in Turkey by the Ohio Air Guard from Toledo. They will stay there the remainder of the month.
Well, Todd mentioned earlier that we could be reaching a record high for today, so let's check in with him real quick in the Weather Center. Todd, how does it look like we're doing as far as reaching that high?
We're getting there, Tammy. I really think that we're going to at least tie a record that was set 81 years ago. Let's take a look at it right now outside our Channel 48 studios. The temperature is 65 degrees at this noon hour. The humidity is in the mid-range at 50%. The barometric pressure is falling at 29.97, and our winds are out of the south at 16 miles per hour. And when I come back, have 2 days of warm weather. Then what after that? Maybe a cold front will be coming through. We'll be right back.
$1,200 for the band? Nobody even danced.
10 years ago, Jim Pratt only had a 60% chance of surviving his cancer.
$250 for the limo? Did you see a limo?
But thanks to 80 years of cancer research,
did you see how happy she was?
he now has more important things to worry about.
I wouldn't have missed it.
The American Cancer Society. We offer hope.
Maybe you have what it takes to be one of us. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I just figure win or lose. Win or lose. At least I know I put my 2 cents in.
Voting is a way for me to express my opinion. It's the one time that they have to listen to me.
Feel real good when I vote. Gives me a chance to speak my piece.
I pull that lever and I think that's my vote, and nobody can change it.
On election day, vote for your candidate, vote for your country, but most of all, vote for yourself.
It's just one vote, but it's my vote.
Well, we're looking outside the Channel 48 studios right now. Looks like we got some pretty blue skies. Todd, can you tell us what can we expect for today?
Well, it looks like that's going to continue, and it looks like the temperatures are really going to warm up.
Well, unfortunately, some people up in the northeast part of the country, they've got an early visit from Old Man Winter.
They're measuring snow up there with a yardstick. It came down so hard this past weekend. They had 2 storms hit them.
Goodness.
But all we have here is just warm weather. I think Santa might have to wear shorts this year. Who knows?
Oh,
Let's go ahead and take a look at the almanac right now. Our average high is 52 degrees, and our average low is 30 degrees. I tell you what, our low temperature isn't even going to make it to our average high. And our record high was 73 back in 1915. I think we might actually go up to 73 or 74 today. Record low 3, nowhere near that in 1919. There are your sunrise and your sunset information there at the bottom of the screen. Heading to the satellite image right now, taking a look at that and watching me disappear before your very eyes, you'll see a huge dome of high pressure dominating much of the central United States. And cloud cover moving into the northwestern part of the United States, giving them a storm system that's just going to ride up and over this dome. But what's going to happen over the next couple of days is this pattern is going to flatten out somewhat into a zonal flow. You can see this amplitude right here, and it will just flatten out, which all that's going to mean is that cooler temperatures are going to be in store for us probably starting Wednesday. It's still going to be wonderful out there, but not the 70-degree weather, probably more like in the 50s and 60s for much of the state. Off to the east, as Tammy was just talking about, there's that storm system there exiting New England, which brought them snow anywhere from 10 to 25 inches of snow up there. Taking a look right now at the highs today across the state. 74 at Engage, that's going to be one of the warmer readings in the state. 73 here in Norman. 70s across the entire state, unless you're heading up to Tulsa, where it's going to be 67 degrees, and the McAllister will be at 70 also. Okay, taking a look at the lows tonight, they're not even going to make it down to our average high for this time of the day for much of the state. 46 here in Norman, and also in Ardmore. Looking at Ponca City, they'll be coming in at 45 degrees, Gage at 40, and Tulsa at 48 degrees. Warm spot in the state will be McAllister at 54 degrees. Taking a look at the forecast for today, is it December or is it April? Well, Mother Nature says it's April, but the calendar says it's December. Then again, record warmth, high of 73, southwesterly winds at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And taking a look at tonight's forecast, pleasant, low of 46 degrees. You can't ask for better weather in December. And the south wind at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And your next 3 days look absolutely wonderful. Sunny to partly cloudy skies, 70 degrees, cooling down though to the upper 60s On Thursday, nighttime lows staying in the 40s, and our next shot of rain is only a slight chance of rain on Friday. So you have a great week to head out, do Christmas shopping, go look at Christmas lights.
Oh, but the kid in me wants to have a white Christmas.
Well,
Is
we
there
still
any
have a
chance?
couple weeks, so 2 or 3 weeks until we get to Christmas. And
so.
we in this part of the country have about a 20 to about a 25% chance on average of seeing a white Christmas.
All right.
Thanks, Todd.
We'll have more news when we return.
Heart disease will kill 500,000 people this year. They won't be selected at random.
I'm out here every week talking to people about sex. My message is simple. If you're gonna have sex, a latex condom used consistently and correctly could help prevent the spread of HIV and other STDs. People out there gotta understand. That's why I'll go anywhere to talk about latex condoms. Even into your living room.
My older sister has really been depressed for weeks.
His wife died a year ago, and my brother's still not sleeping.
She cries all the time.
Now that my husband's not working, he feels worthless.
My friend lost her appetite.
He used to be so active, and now he won't even play cards.
Depression is not a normal part of aging. It's a serious illness. For free print information on helping an older person who's depressed, call 1-800-421-4211.
If you sometimes forget things, and it's happening more often, it's not necessarily your age. But it never hurts to be sure. There are people who can help. If you want to learn more about forgetfulness, we'll send you a free booklet. Call 1-800-438-4380. Don't forget.
Dr. Jocelyn Elders told a gathering at Mount Carmel Baptist Church that black churches must join forces to educate their communities about the dangers of AIDS. The former Surgeon General says 1 out of 350 black men are infected with the HIV virus, compared to 1 out of 800 white men. Elders also emphasized that use of condoms are urged the government to provide clean needles to drug addicts.
Well, if you're a Roman Catholic looking for an exciting place to get married this year, you need to scratch Disney World off of your list. The Roman Catholic Church has banned its priests from performing marriage ceremonies at the Magic Kingdom. The church says for Catholics wanting to get into the eternal kingdom, there's more to the holy sacrament of marriage than sunset ceremonies in front of Cinderella's castle. The church has also banned the drive-through quickie marriages in Las Vegas.
Diane Hodges hits the headlines for this Monday, December 9th.
In the headlines, the father of murder victim Ronald Goldman is scheduled to take the witness stand today at the O.J. Simpson civil trial before the plaintiffs rest their case. Fred Goldman's testimony is intended to help jurors decide how much money Simpson should pay if he's found liable in the wrongful death suit. Later today, the FBI is expected to release tape of a 911 call that was made just minutes before the Olympic Park bombing in Atlanta. The July attack killed 1 person and injured dozens more. Sources say the FBI will announce a reward for information leading to the bomber's conviction. With the headlines, I'm Diane Hodges.
Keep it here on Norman News. We've got a story coming up that's sure to make you smile.
We'll be back after this.
It makes life safer to have rules.
Yeah, if you didn't have rules, someone would get hurt. Shouldn't make noise on the bus because sometimes the bus driver, he needs his ears to hear everything.
Like when you have to stop by the train tracks.
Yeah. Yeah, you shouldn't stay too close to the curb, otherwise you could get flattened or something. You should walk at least 10 feet away from the bus so you can see the driver and the driver can see you. It's very cool to follow the rules.
This is Cody. Cody was born with PKU, an inherited disease that causes mental retardation. But using a test developed by a March of Dimes researcher, this disease can be identified shortly after birth. And through a special diet, the tragic effects of PKU can be avoided. Which is why Cody is the perfectly normal 4-year-old you see here.
Cody?
Please, join our campaign for healthier babies.
Every child has a mother, a father, a name. Every child has a language and something to say. Every child has a gift, a laugh, a dream. In our world, there are millions of children, and every child needs medicine, clean water, nutrition, education. UNICEF, the United Nations Children's Fund, because every child is our child.
These women are prisoners, but instead of gray fences and bars, they're surrounded by green trees and open spaces. As part of the Salvation Army's Almost Home program, small groups of low-risk inmates are brought to a Salvation Army summer camp, where they can get reacquainted with their children through counseling, crafts, games, and just spending time together. And after 14 years of the program, and more than 90% of the women returning to their families instead of a life of crime, you might say we've helped these prisoners find the perfect escape.
Norman was the host for statewide Olympic competitions this weekend.
Norman News' Tamara Landrum tells us how these Olympic Games are special in more ways than one.
People of all ages came to Norman this past weekend to show off their skills in the first ever Winter Special Olympics. Soccer was the first event scheduled, and many players were happy to be here.
Well, right now I feel kind of pretty nervous, but I think we're going to win.
It'd be really nice to see what other players are going to do. I hope we're get out of school too.
We can come here and show what Stillwater made of.
Games Director Sherwood Taylor says there's a category for everyone who wants to participate.
There's about 20 teams here, played at 3 different divisions: a junior level for 8 to 15-year-olds, senior level for 15 to 21, and then a master for 21 and older.
While soccer players were battling it out on the field, the volleyball competition was just getting underway. Special Olympians are proving that their disabilities are not stopping them from playing as well as anyone else. For the past 5 years, Special Olympic teams have been unified.
There'll be 1 or 2 typical people that'll be on the team, and then there'll be 3 or 4 on the field at any given time of the Special Olympians.
Winners of this statewide competition will qualify to compete at the international level games. Tamara Landrum, Norman News.
Well, that's a really good thing they're doing. I'm glad they have the opportunity to participate.
That's right. Well, we were out there for opening ceremonies on Friday night and had an opportunity to meet a young man named Chris, and he had been participating in the summer games for about 13 years, and he's really an inspiration to talk to. He weightlifts, and I mean an incredible amount, like 185 pounds. So it's really great. They're an inspiration.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I had the opportunity to go to a game on Saturday morning, and we'll talk about that later on in the week.
Great. Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, and have a wonderful Monday. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Our planet's rainforests are burning. Every day, 96,000 acres of precious tropical rainforest are burned to the ground. A forest the size of a football field is burned every second. Less rainforest means less rain, less oxygen for all of us to breathe, and an even greater threat from the massive devastation of global warming. Rainforests occupy only 2% of the Earth's surface, yet these lush forests support over half our planet's wild plants and trees, half our world's wildlife, sources providing 1/4 of today's medicines, and 70% of the plants found to have anti-cancer properties, plus the keys to unlocking tomorrow's cures. When these rainforests go, gone forever are the rare plants, animals, and cultures that call them home. That's why this wanton destruction must stop now. It's time to stop the burning. It's time to stop the bulldozers, and that's why we need your help. Right now, you can join the National Arbor Day Foundation, the world's largest tree planting environmental organization, and support rainforest rescue to help stop the destruction, to protect the planet's threatened tropical rainforest. When you join, you will save 2,500 square feet of the irreplaceable rainforest for the future of our planet and for future generations. Call toll-free to join. Your call will mean that the wildlife, plants, and people that abound there will not be lost forever. That you can do something positive to stop this senseless destruction. When you join, 2,500 square feet of tropical rainforest will be preserved in your name. While I've been talking, a forest the size of 20 city blocks went up in smoke. You better call now.
Hi, and welcome to Island Sports for this warm Monday in December. The OU Sooners were looking hot on Saturday night as they were playing against Southeast Missouri State. Let's take a look at the action. And Nate Erdman is still on that hot streak. There he is with the big slam. Erdman had 21 points on the night, 6 rebounds to go along with it. But the big man for the night was Evan Hootie Wiley as he gets the layup there and the foul. And then Corey Brewer with the tip in there. Corey Brewer would have 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. And Southeast Missouri State must have been feeling like they had a sharp pain in their head or something. But Evan Wiley with the shooting touch there as he hits the 15-footer. Evan Wiley would have 21 points on the night, 10 rebounds, a double-double. Allison also got into it with 10 points and 4 assists on the night. But the Southeast Missouri State coach was not happy, and then he had to watch this to top things off. Erdman with the big alley-oop slam, and he's pointing to his head. I don't know what that means. But anyway, after the game, which the Sooners won 83-52, Kelvin Sampson had this to say.
Kids played hard. I think we're getting better and better as we go, and really, really pleased with our team's effort. I thought individually, obviously Evan Wiley is in a coma, and I hope he never comes out of it. But
and the OU wrestling team was in action in actually the women's basketball team was in action this Saturday at SMU. We could take a look at that. They were going up against the Mustangs, and SMU beat them 90. Oh, well, SMU beat them anyway, and Felicia Whaley had 26 points, a career high on that. OU wrestling, they were in the Sheridan tournament in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. At 150 pounds there, you see Rod Jones defeated Mike Garcia 6-4, 158. Byron Tucker brings home the title, beating John Stanley 10-3. And 190, Big John Kading beats Josh Henson 5-3. And the track team was also in action this weekend at the all-comers meet, the first track meet. And first place finishers for OU, if we have them. Women, LaWanda Dyson was first in the 55-meter hurdles, and the men, Danny McFarland, 400-yard run, was first. Ryan Kite got first in the 600-yard run, and Donald Harris leaped his way to first place in the high jump. And that's it for this Monday in Ion Sports. I'll see you again tomorrow.